Hey, secondary math 2 honors. So here's going to be a quick review. On this first slide, I'm going to be showing how to use box method to do this. And then on the second slide, I'm going to be showing how to do just factor by grouping. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, obviously, if it's box method, is I'm going to draw a box. Now, you may notice in here that there is a greatest common factor. If you pull that out first, it makes your life a little bit easier. If you don't, you can follow along with me and see what happens if you don't. So we've got 8w squared, a negative 24w, a positive 20w, and a negative 60. So now I'm going to start pulling out greatest common factors. So between 20w and negative 60, this is going to be a positive 20. Between 8w squared and negative 24w, this is going to be a positive 8w. The greatest common factor between 8w and 20w is going to be a 4w. And then my greatest common factor between negative 24 and negative 60, it's going to be negative. So let's see, 60 divided by 12. Does that work? 5. So let's see. So 24's factors are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And my factors of 60 are going to be 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 4 goes in 6 once, 4 goes into 25 times. Okay, not those two. Then 5 and 12. So there's my biggest common factor. So then it's going to be a negative 12. Now, if you now notice, see how everything has a common factor of 4? So now I'm going to pull out a 4. So I'm going to pull a 4 out of 4 and I get 1. I'm going to pull a 4 out of 12 and I get 3. Pull a 4 out of 8 and get 2. Pull a 4 out of 20 and get 5. So then my final thing is going to be that 4. And then I've got a 1w, or you could just put w, minus 3. And then a 2w plus 5. And that's my final answer. Okay, if you liked that method, go for it. If you pulled out the 4 at the beginning, this is actually much easier. It's up to you. Okay, now I'm going to do factor by grouping here. So the first thing, I've got an 8w squared minus 24w plus 20w minus 60. So now I'm going to put it in 2 different groups. So here's my first group, here's my second group. In my first group, I'm going to notice that I can pull out an 8w. And again, if you notice that you have the 4 in common with everything, it's much easier if you pull it out at the very beginning. If not, you can follow along with me. So we pull an 8w out, and then what's left is going to be a w minus 3, and that's all that's going to be left in there, right? Okay, and then the second one, I'm going to pull a 20 out, and I'm going to be left with a w minus 3. So now I notice that these are in common. So now I have an 8w plus 20 times a w minus 3. Now, if you notice, the 8 and the 20 have a common factor. It's 4. Imagine that. So now if we pull out the 4, we're left with 2w plus 5 and a w minus 3. So we have 4, 2w plus 5, w minus 3. That's not a 3. 3. Which is the answer that we had before. Okay, that's it for factoring with 4 terms. If you need more help with this, please join me for my office hours. I love you guys so much. Good luck.